The danger of the murky middle. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Hmm.
So, today's episode, we're talking about the danger of the murky middle and how that relates to your solo business and how it can keep you stuck in the emergency room, not in the performance center of your business. And so, firstly, welcome, Robert. It's always nice to have you here. Hi. Today, we've been talking a lot about the doubt tax and how much you're faffing, as I like to say, which basically means just making yourself busy with tasks that don't move you forwards, um, is costing you in your business.
Yeah.
So the two there's two distinct kind of areas that people fall into, the categories they fall into in terms of business. Some people are in what I like to call the emergency room, which means they are reactive, they're exhausted, they're running around fighting fires all the time. And when you're in that state, you're much more likely to be circling around what I like to call your pathetic productivity line. This is the Potent Productivity Podcast for entrepreneurs, creators, and business owners who are tired of busy work, burnout, and advice that sounds good but changes nothing.
We go beyond hacks and hype to talk about the real emotional journey behind building meaningful work, the doubt, the pressure, the resilience, and the breakthroughs.
If you want more clarity, stronger momentum, and a business that actually fits who you are, you're in the right place.
Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment so you don't miss a thing.
Now, I want to be clear about this. I am not calling your
Wait.
productivity pathetic, right? But we all have that. We know when we're on top form and we're focused and we're flying, we'll get so much more done than the days when everything feels like a drag, everything feels like so much effort, and everything takes 4 times longer than it should. So you
Yes.
just think, oh, I haven't got the brain space for that today. I'll just get this done and this done and that done. And as long as I get those things done, I'll push everything till tomorrow.
Right.
Right? That minimum requirement is what I call the pathetic productivity line. And it's different for everybody. But when you're in that emergency room kind of scenario in your business, it means you're so tired that you're much more likely to be circling that line most days, you know, and that means getting the minimum necessary jobs done, but they're not likely to generate any income. So they're likely to be things like posting on social media or, you know, I can't even think, like checking emails and stuff, because those things, they keep us busy, but they're not necessarily moving the needle forward. Does
Right.
that make sense?
It does. Yes. Yes.
Cool.
But you said something at the very beginning
Hmm.
that just like made me all prickly.
Okay.
And that was just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. And I'm like, wait a minute. Of course I should. Of course I'm supposed to. It's all up to me. The buck stops here, right? It's like everything's up to me. Even if I have 50 people working for me, it's still up to me. And it's like, but the thing is, and that I know as a solopreneur is a very challenging spot to get into, and how that leads directly to this, pathetic productivity line,
Hmm.
where we're just no longer productive. And I think it's really important to recognize for me that I can do a lot. We're not idiots. We're not stupid people. We are creative geniuses, literally.
Yep.
Every solopreneur, you're not doing what you're doing, you know, because you don't know how to do it. You're incredibly smart and passionate and all these wonderful traits and talents and abilities. And a lot of times for me, I know that, my pride got in the way. It's like, well, let's see how much I can do, and blah, 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 blah. It becomes all about, proving something to myself as opposed to actually building a business that's generating, the profit that I want and the lifestyle that I want, serving the clients the way that I want them served. So for me, it's like that kind of grandiosity always got in the way of my productivity
Hmm.
and confusing busy from productive.
Yeah. And
And
I,
those are clear distinctions.
yeah. And for me, it was very different because I don't have any grandiosity, right? I don't have an ego. And if I do, I don't really listen to it. So I just try my best every day. But because when I moved from my sports injury business, I was treating people on the table and I'd created all these movements that I was recording video and giving to my patients so they could do their treatment at home. And the movements were designed to target the muscles that I was actually trying to get at on the table. So it
Okay.
wasn't just a case of stretch this, go away and, do a bit and I'll see you next week. It was actually you are continuing your treatment at home. And I wanted to put that business online, but I knew nothing about business online. So
Yeah.
I had to learn a whole load of stuff.
Yeah.
And it just kept piling job after job after job onto my plate. And I'm thinking, well, it's my business. And if I don't do this, well, nobody else will. So I ended up just drowning in a pile of to-dos that I had to learn before I even started doing them, and it just grew and grew from there. And before too much time goes by, you're buried under this mountain of stuff and you don't even notice that you're stuck.
Right.
You just end up spinning your wheels all the time. And
Yes.
you don't even have the time to think, hang on a minute, life shouldn't be like this. It's just the daily grind. I used to
Right.
say it was like I was running to keep up with a speeding train because my business, people were paying me to do the jobs or they were paying me, my business was growing, but I didn't know how to do the stuff to fulfill what I was, what people were needing next and, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, what do I do? And the actual cost to my business and to everybody's business in this situation is that when you hit that pathetic line, whatever it is for you, whatever it looks like for you, the consequence is that you push things back, right? So let's say, for example, that you were building a funnel or you were trying to get a project off the ground and the project was a product that was $1,000, right? Because my brain's not very good at mental arithmetic. So let's just keep the numbers dead easy. Okay. So if your product is, you want to sell it for $1,000 and you push it off and it gets pushed back for 30 days. Every day that you push that project back, you are not getting paid for the work that you've already done. So it's costing you in unpaid time $1,000 every day. That's $30,000 a month for just the fact that your project is not finished. Because every day that product is not live and not being able to be sold is a day when you're not getting paid for it. So people think that the doubt tax idea is like monopoly money. It's like fake numbers, pie in the sky, imaginary math, when really it's it's
Yeah.
real time cost to you and your business. And when you're in the performance center area of your business and everything's clicking and everything's working well, you're super focused, you're very clear on what's going on, you still have a pathetic productivity line, but those actions that you take they're growth based. They're not just keeping you busy. And that's a huge difference, and it's a massive difference in how much it's costing you.
Right. Absolutely. And so excuse me. And so when I find myself trying to push through busy items and feeling energetically depleted, it's like I've found, that complete area of non-productivity, that pathetic productivity line for myself. And it's like I try to force myself to get done, but it takes an incredibly more energy. It just takes so much more energy to keep myself going. It takes more energy to get energy moving. It's like when we're depleted. So it comes down, what I guess I'm remembering is like when there are times in the day when I've got high levels of energy that should be spent on high level tasks,
Hmm.
so that I'm structuring my day around my energy cycles. And that's really important, but if I also give myself 150 things to do at 8 o'clock in the morning, by 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, "Ugh," you need that break, etc. And then it's like, then you look at the rest of your list, and I'm like, I still got 149 things more to do,
Yeah.
or whatever, 130, it doesn't matter, but you still like, oh my God, I still have so many things to do.
Hmm.
And this is where the grandiosity and the pride come in, in terms of like the being productive. What is it that I'm trying to prove? What is it that I think I'm trying to get done by a certain time? And who's it supposed to benefit? Because as a solo business owner, it's like I might have a goal of like, all right, I need to get this funnel done so that I can, launch this product so that I can generate leads so that I can start talking to potential clients and close sales and sell products, whatever. That's where my real work needs to be. But it's very easy to get lost. And like you said, it's like you create that to-do list and then you have to learn how to do the things that are on your to-do list. My God, I fell into that trap 10 years ago. And it's like all I wanted to do was build a funnel. And then, it took me 30 years to learn how to build a funnel. I'm obviously exaggerating, because it's always changing. So not being fair to myself in that way, depleted my ability to actually focus on those things that are going to make me productive. And it all comes down to having what is the outcome that I really want? What is the clear intention of this? And having that clarity so that whatever work I'm doing is leading me towards that result.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it may well be that when you're in the performance center of your business and you're only focusing on the tasks that are going to create growth in your business, it might be that your to-do list is 5 items and three of those are to contact three people, you
Right.
know. So send an email to this person, message this person, and call this person on the phone.
Right.
And you might think, well, that's hardly anything. I can get loads more done than that. But
Right.
do you have to? Do
Right.
you have to?
Right. 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 It's
That's
funny
really
that
what I mean about just because you can doesn't
yeah.
mean to say that you should,
Right. Right. But
you
as you
know?
mentioned that, it reminds me over the weekend, I was like looking at this. I don't know. I came across this. I do I watch these sales videos and things like that. And I came across this one post that says, this one job is hiring a sales rep. You have to make 150 calls a day. And I'm like, 150 calls a day, that's one call every 5 minutes.
Wow.
Eh, Right. But here's it's all about the mindset because my mindset wants to make things complicated. But if I'm very clear about what my job is, and I'm not saying that, that's an ideal metric for my kind of client,
Hmm.
it might be a 15-minute call. Okay, so great. So that means I make 90 calls a day or whatever. But the point is like being very clear that there's a complicated way to do things and a very strategic and streamlined way to do things when I'm very clear on that outcome.
Hmm.
We know we've already proven to ourselves a million times over that we are far more capable than we give ourselves credit for.
Oh yeah.
But we continue to convince ourselves that we're not
Yeah,
and
and I
have to
think
prove it through being busy.
yeah, and I think this is where Wreck-It Rose really takes over. If you've never heard us talk about Wreck-It Rose and Kick-Ass Katie before, they are like the equivalent of the angel and the devil sitting on your shoulders. Okay. And Wreck-It Rose is the devil, and she has what I like to call weapons of mass inaction. So they are basically playing on your emotions to stop you doing things. Her whole goal in life is to stop you taking the action you need to grow your business. Okay. So she is that voice in your head that wants you to stay small. And one of her favorite weapons of mass inaction is the fear of failure. I describe all of the ones in my Stop Doing It All book, and you can follow along with that in chapter 15. So I describe all of those weapons of mass inaction in chapter 15. But the fear of failure is one of her favorite ones because it's really effective. And when you're trying to get a project off the ground, let's use the $1,000 product as an example. if she's whispering in your ear, well, nobody'll even care if you don't get this done, then you're thinking, well, why bother? Right? I don't need to do that. I can do that tomorrow because, well, if I don't do it, nobody else is going to. So if I don't do it today, then I'll just do it tomorrow instead. But the longer you push those things off, each task you don't do, the longer you don't get paid for the work that you've already done. But also, every time she convinces you not to do something, it's easier for her to start whispering those things like, oh, you're not good enough. And then all of that second guessing game starts. And then every decision takes longer. And, you start questioning everything and overthinking everything and procrastinating or making yourself busy so you don't have to do the thing. It's just a slippery slope and it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And what we want is to avoid that murky middle so that we have clarity and we have direction in what we're doing so that we can make those bold actions that kick-ass Katie would take in order to get that project out of the door so that you get paid for all of your work.
Yes. So how do we get to this performance center where
Ah,
we are productive?
yeah. So the murky middle um, is it's when you don't know which tasks you should be doing. Right. So as a solo business owner, like I said, for me, everything just got piled on bit by bit by bit, and I didn't really understand that I was doing everything until it was too late. So, because, like my granddad says, sometimes some people have to stand outside in the rain before they realize they're getting wet. And I was like, I'm too smart for that, and then realized that was totally what I was doing. So yeah, it's the four L's of successful delegation. You can find that in chapter 13 of my book. Um, and it's basically dividing all of your tasks into categories. So the categories are love, learn, leverage, and let go. Okay, so love is the task that requires you and your magic. So in my situation, this podcast requires me because I can't outsource that to other people because people want to hear from me and obviously you. So, but learning is often where solo business owners get stuck. They get stuck learning the stuff that they think they need to know in order to drive their business forward, but they end up learning video editing and social media content and all of this other stuff that's actually easier to get somebody else to do or get AI to do or something like that because it doesn't require you to go and find out all of the hashtags that you need and all of the posting schedule that you need to do and all of that kind of stuff. You can actually get somebody else to do it, and that's where leveraging comes in. So you can learn stuff that's going to contribute to your acceleration, but you can leverage tasks that can be systemized or systematized, whichever you want to call it, so that you're not the primary focus of that task.
Right.
And then we have let go. And people think, well, I can't let go of these tasks. I can't just ignore them completely. But that's not the point. These tasks still need doing. It's just you don't need to do them. And it's really easy to pass those things off to other people. So those are like the grind tasks that are just clogging up your schedule and keeping you from your growth.
Right.
So
A
those are
lot
the
of this,
four L's.
yeah, and those are really, really poignant and really powerful in terms of getting productive again. I know that for me, one of the biggest challenges that I had when I was getting started is not having the financial resources to delegate everything.
Yeah.
So as a solopreneur, well, if I can't afford it, then, what do I need to do when I still have to do it all? And this is where I can complicate getting out of a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
It's really understanding what are the priorities, and going for perfect when barely good enough is more than good enough.
Yeah.
It's like you can, like when we say we're building funnels, you can have the best offer and a horrible sales letter and still make great money.
Mm-hmm.
But how many of us spend time trying to create the perfect sales letter,
Yeah.
right? and it takes a month to write 3 paragraphs. It's like, seriously? Come on.
Yeah.
And my point is like, yes, there's things we need to learn. Yes, there are things that are on our plate. Yes, it might cost money, but I can also build a strategy. I can identify what the priorities are. What does take my unique magic? And now with AI, it's so easy to create your own virtual assistant that clones you to actually start doing things for you. Hey, do this for me,
Yeah.
and it will create things for you. So I don't have to learn as much as I used to, but I still have to be accountable to my productivity
Yes.
because my goal is to live a better life. I don't want to be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I want time off for friends, family, social events, concerts, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's important, right?
Yeah, and that's why I built a free tool to help you decide which tools should go in which category or which tasks should go in which category. So when you sign up for the Potent Productivity Primer that we offer for free at potentproductivitypodcast.com, you get a free copy of the book. You'll
Hmm.
also get a free copy of the workbook that goes along with it and an email sequence that drives you forwards in your business straight away. But you will get the link to the task um, assistant, and then it will help you to decide. So you basically write in it what the task is, how much you enjoy doing it, how easy it is to pass it off to somebody else, how many hours a week you're spending doing it, and all that kind of stuff. And you just fill in a few things, and it will automatically calculate and tell you the word love, learn, leverage, or let go. And so it's giving you a suggestion. It's not giving you concrete advice. It's giving you a suggestion that you can just look at the tasks you have for the week and go, right, I really don't need to be doing this. I
Right.
need to spend my time focusing on this and this and this. And I need to find a way of getting that off my plate,
Yes.
whether that's using AI, whether it's using a friend, whether
Right.
it's swapping um, tasks with people. So you're getting tasks that you really enjoy, and they're getting tasks that they really enjoy. But you're both getting all of your tasks done. I've done that loads of times before. That's really helpful, and can be quite fun actually when you involve your friends in the equation. It's like, what do you hate this week? What can I help with? And they go, oh, I really hate that. Like, okay, well, I'll do that. You do this.
Yes, exactly. Then that works better. It's like when we have that clarity, it's easy to delegate. And even to delegate within myself, understanding what I need to let go of and what I need to do myself, etc. And for some reason, I have met a lot of business owners who think that delegating is failure.
Oh, yeah,
It's like, wait, what? It's like, no, stop it.
yeah,
It's like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they'd never be as successful as pick your,
mhm,
hero, they'd never be as successful if they weren't able to delegate.
yeah.
There's no way.
No, and that's why I also added a free delegation masterclass into the whole situation.
Yes,
So every
great.
tool that you can think of to help support you in this journey, I have tried to include in this package that you get for free when you sign up for the Academy waitlist. And we'll
It's
talk
brilliant.
more about that in a second. But
Yeah,
um,
it's brilliant.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want you to be stuck, and I definitely don't want you to be doing it all yourself because nobody succeeds by doing anything themselves, all of
No,
it anyway.
not even
So,
superheroes.
well,
Superman.
exactly. Yeah.
Superman needed Lois and Jimmy
Yes.
most of the time.
Yeah,
Batman
it's
needed Robin.
exactly, and it's always the sidekick that solves all of the problems,
Right?
right? It's them that create all the ways that the superhero can succeed.
Yeah,
If you don't have other people helping you to push you forwards like that, then it's just an opportunity wasted.
yeah.
No? Cool. So my I kind of like looking now at the difference between how my business used to be and how it is now
Hmm.
that I have moved out of this murky middle, right? So when I was doing everything myself and I was in the sports injury development business, not the sports injury development, the sports injury treatment business. I started coaching personal trainers and fitness coaches to help them include the movements that I'd created into what they were teaching. So I was like, it became more of injury prevention kind of stuff. And
Cool.
I thought that I needed to learn how to do all of the stuff myself. It didn't help that a so-called friend who was supposed to be building the website for me basically held it hostage for £30,000 and said, "Give me £30,000 and I'll fix it for you, or I'll finish it for you." And I was like, "Hang on a minute, that's not happening." So, and it is. I've spoken to a lot of solo business owners and they've had similar experiences where they've asked somebody to do something for them and they've had a bad experience. And so they go, "Well, I'm never asking anybody to do it again. There's only me can do this because nobody's going to do it as well as I can." Right. But that's only hurting you. So when that business finished and I didn't want to go back into it anymore, I decided I was going to build a business that I really enjoyed. And one of the ways for me to do that was to focus on the things that I find fun. Okay. And I can tell you right now, social media is not one of those things. And delegating that to somebody else, yeah, okay, the transition time takes a bit longer, because you're having to work with somebody else. But what I did was I opened up the opportunity for somebody else to add their skill to my business. And now what I have is something working almost on autopilot because they understand what I want. We've had backwards and forwards for long enough now for them to learn what I like and what I don't like. It's all very clear. And they go with my branding and they go with my stuff. And I give them bits that they need and then they do their magic. And I don't have to worry about it, but they're adding their skill to my business. And I think that's the difference when we start to delegate things. We're creating opportunities to grow as a leader and to develop the mindset of a CEO in your own business rather than just, "Oh, well, yeah, but it's my business." And, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I've always kind of felt a little bit like I'm a little kid playing at it, and I think people have seen me that way,
Yeah.
mainly because I'm always the youngest. And I think when I think that about myself, I allow other people to see me that way. And when I start delegating and I have to manage people and I have to be very clear about what it is that I want from my business, then it changes the way that I see myself.
Yes.
And that changes how I show up in my business.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's very clear. Absolutely. Yay.
Cool. So, I mean, the whole purpose of this whole conversation really is so that
Yes.
you can reclaim your life, you know?
Yeah.
Because when
Yes.
you're in the murky middle, you're just charging around all the time. You don't have any time to do anything. You don't have any energy left for the people in your life. And when you're not at work, you're just constantly thinking about work because, "Oh, I didn't get this done," and, "Oh, that needs doing for tomorrow." And it's just that constant drain of your mental energy that you just can't push through.
Right.
Eventually it catches up with you.
Right. Absolutely.
So
Excellent. Yep.
I
Great
would like to,
conversation today.
yeah. But I always want to know, what is your biggest takeaway from today?
Yeah, it's like just not letting go. It's like refusing to let go of every single responsibility. Being accountable is one thing. I'm accountable for everything in my business, but I can make other people responsible. And there's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So I can delegate responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
and retain accountability.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think for me, it's the idea that delay costs you money.
Mhm.
It has a price, and that faffing is definitely costing you money. I'm on a mission to put faffing into the American language.
Awesome.
Cool. So if you don't know that you can get my book for free And all of the cool stuff I just mentioned, you can get it for free along with the workbook and the email sequence that's going to drive you forwards when you put your name down for the Academy waitlist. And you can do that at potentproductivitypodcast.com. There's a link on the website there that will take you straight to where you need to be.
Yeah.
It gives you all the tools that you need to start moving forwards today. And then when you are ready to put this self-driving mode into your business and you're ready to really start taking things forwards with your business, that's what the Academy is there for. So
That's brilliant. Yeah.
yeah.
And if you have an experience that you'd like to share with us, a challenge, something that you don't want to let go of responsibly, or whatever, and don't want to delegate, or how that's shown up in your business, or creating massive to-do lists and being drained of energy, share that with us. We'd love to have a conversation with you and follow up with you, and be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, all the above. And we look forward to seeing you more.
Cool. Well, we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye. Welcome to the Potent Productivity Podcast, where we pull back the curtain and dive into the real emotional journeys behind entrepreneurship. We're your hosts, Sarah
and Robert, and we know that building a business isn't just about crushing your to-do list or chasing overnight success. It's about navigating the ups and downs and unexpected turns that come with following your passion.
We're not here to sell you easy wins or rehearse the same tired success stories you've heard 1,000 times. We're here to talk about the moments when enthusiasm is buried beneath a mountain of tasks, when self-doubt creeps in, and when you're not sure where your road leads next.
So each week, we'll share raw conversations, real lessons, and practical strategies to help you reconnect with your creativity, build resilience, and rediscover what excited you about your business in the first place.
If you're ready for honest talk, community, and actionable inspiration, you're in the right place. Let's get real. Let's reclaim your potent productivity together.